Good dare, good dare, good dare. What does that mean? Good, that's an interesting pun. Good dare. This is a good dare. It's a dare for you. Good day, friends, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury. Thank you so much. A hearty hello and a hi ho silver, and welcome right now as we discuss the subject that, for some particular reason, I don't know, is just lost, misunderstood. The most important and critical story, not the Oval Office sign in the White House, not even the stupid indictments which I told you about. I told you about regarding Comey and Tish James and how they still don't get it. I was watching a certain cable news show the other day, and they still don't understand it. They're saying, "Well, it's Clinton point appointed judges." It's like they just won't get it. They won't get it. They won't say to you, "Wait a minute, hold it. This is crazy, screwy stuff. This is lunacy. This is crazy." They won't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. And whether people like it or not, it's a different story. Whether people like it or not, I can't tell you. I can't help it. I'm not even going to pretend, because people, as you know, many folks that friends of ours do not like for us to explain things that are contrary to the storyline. Look, I'll put up my bona fides regarding Trump with anybody. All right. I have no problem. I love the guy. I love the guy. He's like a crazy uncle or something. I don't know what the word is, but he's somebody that I don't go crazy. I don't lose my mind when I talk about this, but I want you to understand they do some things that are really stupid. They really do. And if I can't say it, why do you want to listen to me? Why would you listen to a word I said if everything was always, "Oh, he's great, he's wonderful"? No. Sometimes they do some stuff which is really stupid. But I want to bring something to your attention, which I think is so critical, monumentally critical. And I want you to be aware of this right now. And I want you to think specifically about why this is. As I've told you, my friends, repeatedly, I've told you from the get-go, from the beginning, the number one issue which affects all of us, is artificial intelligence, because nobody understands what it is. They think it's like MS DOS or Apple or an operating system, or it's this thing where we say, "Hey, I have AI." No, AI is not a thing. It's not an item. It's not something you sell. It's not a product. It's not a version. It is a consciousness that we're unable to think of. It's like saying there really is no it's like saying consciousness, for lack of a better word. But today we're going to be stepping into the arena where the next world order is being written. And this is so huge. And I guarantee you, if you can master this, you will be the hit of your block, because nobody gets this. We're not talking about some treaty room or some military base or some place, but in server farms and satellite links and GPU clusters and data vaults built behind guarded doors. This is what we're talking about. And as I say to you, my dear friends, as I say to you repeatedly, this is beyond the ken, the understanding. Okay. Now, the new battleground is artificial intelligence, and the term is now being used and rising across governments and around the globe. Listen to me and remember this: sovereign AI, not agentic AI or generative AI, but sovereign AI. Not product, not trend, but doctrine. It's doctrinal. And make no mistake, it is spreading so fast. Remember, when I mention it, it's here. The belief is simple. If a nation can't build its own AI, It may one day not even be able to speak with its own voice. Data models shape narratives. Algorithms determine influence. Large language models, you've heard this, LLMs, right? Large language models may soon write laws, advertise politics, run logistic networks, and direct stock markets. So the question that governments are now asking is not how fast AI will grow. They're asking who will own it, who will steer it. This gets into the term you've heard everybody mention, alignment. Who will guard it? Who will be forced to ask permission to use it? South Korea is now our global test case. The country is not dabbling in curiosity. They have declared that falling behind in AI by even one day could mean falling behind by an entire generation. Their president, Lee Jae-myung, how about that? Myung, went before the legislature and called the moment a life or death crisis. And what are we talking about in our country? We're talking about a sign outside the Oval Office, or whether it's tacky, or we're talking about whether Bill Maher had on Lara Trump, and is that important? Or whether Nick Fuentes is the voice of young men, and whether the Groyper mentality could one day lead a new contingent of conservatives. That's what we're talking about. We live in a world of cable news idiocy. Here in New York, they're looking at Mamdani, and every time the guy farts, they lose their mind. When he told you specifically, this is what I'm going to do, and he's doing it. This is where you should be paying attention, but it doesn't connect. Korea, listen to what I'm saying. And this is the part which is so, oh my God. South Korea, pay attention. They are tripling their AI budget to nearly $6.8 billion for next year. And what are we doing? We're turning it over to Silicon Valley. We're turning it over to big tech. We're not controlling it, because that would be what? Socialistic? We're just having Sam Walton come in. The creepiest man. He makes Klaus Schwab look like Floyd the barber, okay? These people are, I don't even know if they're real. But South Korea they're building their own large language model. Remember, LLMs. They're constructing government-led data centers stocked with NVIDIA's most advanced chips, nearly 260,000 of them. And their biggest corporate names, Samsung, SK, Hynix, Hyundai, LG, are all pledged to pour more than $500 billion into AI-driven infrastructures. This is consequential. It's monumental. It's beyond anything we can imagine. This would be the only thing we're talking about. These aren't headlines. I mean, during World War II, during the Manhattan Project, we weren't talking about, the bomb, because frankly, we didn't know about the bomb. We didn't know what it was. This makes the bomb look like nothing, because the bomb can be contained. The bomb can be controlled. The bomb, if you want, theoretically, you could say, okay, let's all stop with the bomb. And we could say, all right, there's no more bomb if we all agree. Not with AI. You don't turn it off. You don't own it. It's not like Tim Cook saying, you know what, we're going to shut down Apple. No more operating systems. No. South Korea knows that these are national investments. And they're occurring because that country believes one terrifying idea, which I want you to inculcate into your own being. The world may soon divide into nations that control their own AI and nations that merely rent someone else's. Can't say that enough. And here is where Washington enters the picture. The Trump administration has already begun offering America's allies what it calls a full stack AI solution. That means chips, architecture, cloud design, software, packages, and data management. A turnkey intelligence kind of a toolbox. And this is the key. It is being offered not only as a commercial product, but as an instrument of foreign policy. Join our AI ecosystem, they say, and we'll guarantee your place in the future. Beijing is saying nearly the same thing in its own language. And the world is being carved into digital spheres of influence. And the borders are not drawn on a map, they are drawn in data licenses and hardware limitations and who controls the root access to the machine. This is what the New World Order was. This is what we talked about for the longest time. The idea that we would have a new formation of government, a new world order, not states, not unions, but new conglomerates, new groups, new factions, new territories of influence and governance that nobody's ever seen before. And around the globe, mid-sized powers are, this is ours. This is this is it. This is it. Around our mother planet are mid-sized powers, and they're worried. France and Germany are teaming up to build a sovereign AI platform under strict data protection rules. The UK is forming a sovereign AI unit with the goal of keeping British AI talent from fleeing to Silicon Valley. India is building its own foundation model. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have won approval in their particular areas to buy 70,000 advanced chips from the United States. Their officials, their officials compare AI procurement to defense planning and national security. And what are we talking about? Nick Fuentes or Charlie Kirk, or whether JD Vance is Erica, or whether Usha took her ring off, or we talk shit. We talk about things that just don't matter because we're especially when it comes to this. Sorry, kids, it's true. You will never hear anybody talk about it. You'll talk about I told you about this stupid indictment against Comey and Big Tish, dismissed because they don't have a U.S. attorney. That's what they're talking about. I've been telling you forever. This is my pet peeve. Geoengineering, of course. This The aforementioned countries see that energy and territory once defined power. Now data defines it. This is the currency. It's not going to be crypto, it's going to be something else. Where data flows, so does authority. And my friend, behind this rush is a fear that is never spoken about out loud, but it's present in every planning room and government briefing. If a nation depends on foreign AI systems, let me say this again, listen carefully. If a nation depends on foreign AI systems to run hospitals, stock exchanges, traffic grids, defense radar, education platforms, then what happens if that access is ever denied? What happens in a dispute? Wars will not be about F-25, F-36 Raptors, and no, hypersonic missiles. No. We're talking about UK and Russia. All we got to do is snap this thing, turn this thing off, and it's over. What happens? What happens if contracts get rewritten? What happens if sanctions are applied? Not to oils or crops or wheat, but to data streams and update access codes. We are seeing the formation of a new, not only a new world order, a new world commerce, a new world consciousness, a new world language. It's something that is beyond the ken, the imagination, the subject line. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Do you think cable news shows are talking about this? No. And one of the reasons why, believe it or not, is not because I hate to say it, not because it's verboten, but because it's beyond the realm, and I keep saying the ken, the level of understanding of most American simpletons. Let me ask you something. What happens if your country becomes digitally helpless because your entire infrastructure was built on someone else's cloud? What happens? That is the nightmare scenario behind sovereign AI. It's not about national pride, it's about national survival. And this is why the phrase sovereign AI is taking hold with the urgency of a military doctrine. Because the governments of the world are beginning to suspect that to surrender their data pipelines is to surrender their political destiny. Oh, this is huge. Even the language used by industry leaders reflects this change. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said that something to the effect that sovereign AI is a way for a civilization to codify its culture, its history, its common sense, and its intelligence. That is not that's not marketing copy. That's national identity carved into code. He said, you own your own data. And he knows that every nation on earth is looking at his chips the way they once looked at steel mills and uranium enrichment facilities. And, this is, I can't say enough. You are watching a transition before your very eyes. It's like, I always give this example. Do you remember when disco died? No, you just woke up one day and hey, there's no more KC and the Sunshine. What happened to it? It's like you're watching it on Tuesday and somebody's saying tomorrow there's no more disco. Today, the new world is here. We're not talking about gadgets. We're talking about keystones of power. If data is the new oil, then GPUs are the new drilling rigs. Whoever controls them will steer economies and elections and civilization. Do you understand this? Yes, you do, because you are smart and you've always thought. We have always been smarter than the rest. We have always been smarter than the rest. And the reason why I say smarter is that we have been, for a very long time, open to ideas that most people aren't. Whenever we talk about stuff, they say, oh, you're being conspiratorial. No, 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 no. No, no, we understand it. We've been talking about transhumanism and chimeras, and we're very good. When we talked about vaccines, we had to understand virology and immunology and the etiology of virus mechanics. We're very open minded. We are still the creme de la creme. We are the intelligentsia, the cognoscenti. We are the height, or the height, as people say, of we're it. But now comes the deeper implication. If AI models are trained now on cultural data, and if nations are beginning to build their own AI systems with their own domestic language patterns, history, records, values, and legal traditions, then humanity may soon have not a single AI intelligence, but many. American AI, Chinese AI, Korean AI, Islamic AI, European regulatory AI, all with their different instruction sets, different worldviews, and different priorities. the machines they make differently because they will be trained differently. And if that happens, geopolitics enters a new phase completely. The field is not equal. Not every nation can build GPU farms, but not every country can afford massive electric grids for AI computation. Not every land can retain the engineers needed to write and train huge language models. Listen to what I'm saying. When you advise your children today about whether they're going to go into what area are they going into, we still think about business like real estate, and you're going to say to them, this is the future. It's remember, before the combustion engine, nobody understood the basis or the relevance of gasoline. What difference is it? What does it matter? Then all of a sudden we say, oh, we need this because petroleum is everything. By the way, if you watch Landman, what a great show. Billy Bob Thornton's, was it Tommy Norris, whatever, his speeches about petroleum are incredible. Anyway, so what happens to the smaller nations? Do they become tenants? Kind of, is this a new kind of a feudal system in someone else's digital empire? Do they become data colonies? See, these are questions spoken only in private, but they're now being asked. And the truth is brutal. AI will pick winners and losers. It will favor those who can host it, power it, feed it, and direct it. And sovereign AI is the response. It says that no nation should hand over its destiny to a server room built overseas. It argues that human identity, national history, strategic capability, and legal sovereignty should not be filtered through algorithms that are privately licensed and remotely updated. That may be a political argument, but it's becoming a constitutional one in certain nations. As lawmakers begin to see that AI sits near the center of government power, not at its margins, this will redefine everything. Every revolution in communications has altered policy. The telegraph, the radio, the television, internet, each changed how nations governed, how wars were fought, how leaders were chosen, and how internal dissent was controlled or ignored. But artificial intelligence, oh, no, 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 that's different. It can propose, it can direct, it can evaluate, it can test scenarios and select outcomes. It can run models, not just of climate or crops, but of voting patterns, individual opinions. Oh my God. Eventually, it may become somewhat irresistible to governments who want to manage social stability. And that's why the question of who owns the system, who writes its rules, and who gets to turn it off matters more than anything else. South Korea sees that clearly. Europe is beginning to see it. The Gulf states see it. Washington sees it. Beijing sees it. Everywhere, the same idea is spreading. If the data doesn't reside within the nation, then the nation may find itself permanently downstream of whoever owns that reservoir or dam. The practical barrier is energy. See, training and hosting advanced AI requires power grids beyond what many nations currently possess or even can imagine. So, energy policy, intelligence policy, economic policy, and national security are all merging, and the lines are blurring. The future will not belong simply to those with armies or those with land. It will belong to those with trained models, domestic data centers, electrical resilience, and tell your kids this, engineers who know how to teach machines. So now, my friends, now we enter the age of sovereign AI, where identity is, I guess, no longer solely biological or cultural or national. It may soon be digital, governmental, strategic, written in code, trained on memory, and stored inside facilities guarded like military bases, like the Fort Knox. And the debate isn't academic, it's existential. The day may come, I think, in fact, it will come, when access to AI means access to governance itself. And the nations that do not prepare, that do not prepare for that shift may wake up dependent entirely on the system they can't control and they can't escape. See, that's the conversation now that's rising all across the world. And we should be paying very close attention to this, because this conversation may determine which nations command and control their future and which nations have it assigned to them. That is sovereign AI. That is the race now underway. And the clock is not merely ticking, it's accelerating. This is bigger, my friends, than anything you can imagine. It's that simple. That critical. Now, I want to say something to you which is very important, very critical. My friends, listen to me very, very, very careful. The right now, there is a very special program, a very special platform, if you will, that is available only through Black Friday at preparewithlionel.com. Read what's going on, look at the stories, look at the benefits, because there are now new means by which we are adding cooking stoves and the like, heating units, bug out bags, all of this to people who will find themselves absolutely guaranteed one day in need of emergency food, emergency provisions. Remember, food, water, energy, and ammo. Can't help you with the ammo, but go to preparewithlionel.com, and in the description section of this piece is all the information you need. My friends, listen to me. Be ahead of the game. Everything that we talk about, I was listening and watching everything about. People are so talking about Nick Fuentes. I don't understand this. Who cares? It's interesting. Yeah. Here in New York, it's the most backwards group of people. We know that AI is not, to call it one thing, it's everything. It's oxygen, energy, God. Chat GPT, when it hits consciousness, it is something that in the history and the development of the human condition, it it is the invention of the wheel and the telegraph. And think of these moments in history, the printed word, reusable type, and the opposable thumb. Just, it is beyond anything. We need leadership. We need people stewarding the helm, people running our country and looking out for our best interest, who are not beholden to Silicon Valley, who are not making deals with the Altmans and the Gateses and the Elons to basically sell our sovereignty. If you love this country, if you love this planet, the way people swear they do regarding climate, cataclysmic uh, pronouncements and auguring and pythonic fears looming on the horizon about Greta Thunberg, dystopian, whatever. That's nothing. This is it. Everything must be done. All focus, all hands on deck, focused on who is going to control AI, who is going to harness it, who is going to be able to watch what's happening. And sovereign AI changes everything. We're not going to have any more. You're not going to have this thing about Oh, Russia and Ukraine. Oh, there's a missile that no. And it's not just turning off the grid. That's why when I talk about preparewithlionel.com, and I don't think, I know you get it, but I don't think a lot of people understand it. They don't get it. They think they're living like in the days of Reagan or something. This is, if you have children and grandchildren, and I'm telling you something, you tell your kids if they want to get into something, whatever it is, and I don't know if college is a way. It's in the old days used to be computers, and then it was digital. No, it's artificial intelligence. This is what eventually Silicon Valley will be. And when that's kind of like not it's like an eponym or something for the collective source of this. But everything that the world of humanity depends will be a part of this. So, my dear friends, I thank you. At 5 p.m. today, please join Mrs. L for Lynn's Warriors for a live at 5. We cordially invite you to join us. Please be there. Lynn's Warriors. She's got, oh my God, wait till you see. AI is affecting that there as well. Do you know that chat bots in toys, oh my God, telling people to harm themselves? That's a whole nother world. This is the story. You're smart enough. You know what I'm talking about. Don't ever let anybody fool you. That is our discussion. All right, dear friends, I wish you nothing but the best. Have a great and a glorious day. Stay tuned to Lionel Nation. Stay subscribed. I've got more coming up later. I may pop up at any time with a live feed, so make sure you were subscribed. Thank you so much. Have a great and glorious day. Until we meet again, remember the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.